All right. Hello, we are back with a carry-on episode of sleep hygiene and its impact on your health and your hormones. And we're also going to be touching into other ways that it can be sabotaging any healthy habits that you plan to implement. So we were just touching on how your insulin sensitivity goes down and your insulin resistance goes up when you are sleep deprived. So I guess pretty much that is big enough of a reason in itself for you to prioritize your sleep. Now, the other one has to do with habit formation. So if you think about the way that you learn tasks through neurons firing together that repeat pattern of you learning that task. It's kind of like lifting a weight, like you need to do a few repetitions. And the more focused you are on that task, the more those neurons are going to fire to actually start connecting together. But here's the thing. Focus is the thing that actually helps the neurons fire together. But then what is it that actually helps ingrain them to wire them together? Because they're firing together doing the same pattern, but they need to then wire together and kind of embed it into your learning process, embed it into your brain's lazy. Your brain doesn't want to expend energy trying to learn tasks. So it tries to make things very autonomic. It tries to make them just happen. Like you don't have to waste brain. Your brain does a lot of metabolically expensive tasks. So if you think about, here's a good example as like a comparison. People say muscle burns a lot of energy. It burns calories. So I want to build more muscle to burn calories, which is kind of stupid because 1 pound of muscle burns like 13 extra calories. And that's just like saying, oh, cool, I can eat an extra bite of freaking celery or whatever else. Stupid. Now, your brain is the most metabolically active. It is more active than, well, it needs more energy than your muscles combined. It does pretty damn important things to keep you alive and to do other things. So it does not want to waste energy trying to learn tasks. So back to the thing that we were saying, it needs to actually wire them together to then make it autonomous. So your sleeping is then when your brain repeats those actions that you've done to then wire them together and to make it pretty much innate, something that you do.
So it takes, when we are learning as children, it takes 300 repetitions of a practice, gait, eating, lifting your hand to your face, to embed that motor pattern into your spinal cord. So all of these autonomic processes that Ruby is talking about are embedded in the spinal cord. Once they're embedded, the brain does not want to override that pattern. So your going to bed at 3 a.m. is embedded into your spinal cord. Now, to override that pattern, it takes 3,000 repetitions, good repetitions, to override the original pattern, which is a lot, right? Because the brain doesn't want to have to do something new. And that is why you feel resistance. That's why you maybe get frustrated or angry or whatever, because the brain's going, no, I've got this pattern. I already know what to do here. I don't want to do that new thing that you're telling me to do because this works just fine for me. So what Ruby is saying is you have to be consistent with this process to embed it, to make it autonomic so that you now don't have to expend all that energy going, oh my God, I've got to go to bed at 9 o'clock. It will happen, but you have to be consistent with it.
She made a really good point. And if you actually put the 3,000 to the 300 together and compare those numbers, put it this way. If your child was learning to walk and they fell over, are you going to punish your child for not being able to actually keep walking? No, you're going to encourage her to try again. And that encouragement is going to be a positive feedback loop for that child to keep attempting to do it. And if you're going to consistently berate yourself for any errors you make in the process, you are only delaying the learning effect. Your brain doesn't just learn from good reps, it learns from errors so that it can course correct to then make the good reps that you need to embed that movement. So if you want to actually develop these habits, whether they be for sleeping, whether they be for eating, which we will be going into eating in a whole other podcast, because we probably have crazy eating stories for how we evolved with our relationship with food, because mine was terrible, and I'm sure anyone that knows me knows how horrible mine was. But what most of you would not know is how long it actually took me, including most of last year. And this year has been the best thus far because of all of these little things that I put into place to get me to where I am now. And I've never felt more free. My definition of food freedom is different to the next person's, but I've never felt much like more food freedom than I do now due to these habits that I made. And I'm sure everybody could envy any feeling of food freedom because they feel so entrapped by food. And you'll be more entrapped if your sleep is ruined. Because as she said, if you're tired and your hormones are haywire and you're not regulating the hormones in your body properly, you're going to have no willpower to actually do what you need to do, because not only is your body lacking energy, but so is your brain, and your hunger hormones are going to be all skewed up as well. Now, when it comes to shift workers, when it comes to coffee, that is what we are about to touch on now. So shift workers, what would you recommend?
So my ex-partner, River's dad, he is a shift worker, and it's not that he does night shifts. So he does 5 nights, 5 days off, 5 days, 5 nights off. Like, it's all over the place, particularly around key times of year. So around Christmas, or when the construction industry is as busy as like year end, that kind of thing, when there's new projects, new budgets, it can be crazy. And he has always struggled with his weight. A lot of it is due to that. There are obviously other things going on there, but trying to regulate that, and for him to then go, right, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to eat properly during my night shift when he's starving and he's in a very, very physical job. It's really difficult. So he works 12-hour shifts in a quarry. I mean, it's full on. And in the winter, you can imagine it is horrendous. Freezing cold quarry outside for 12 hours. It's dark. You know, it's a very harsh environment. In the summer, just as bad. It's boiling hot. They have to wear these full, hazmat suit, not hazmat suits, you know what I mean, like the high vis suits. It is incredibly hot. They can't regulate body temperature because plastic and all the rest of it, dust in the quarry. So harsh environments, either end of the scale, plus this, messed up sleep pattern of, like, for 5 days I'm doing this, then I'm off completely, and then the next 5 days I've got to rotate completely 380 to the other side of that working shift pattern. So that can be really, really challenging for people who are trying to get some kind of pattern to the sleep, maintain a nutritional program. So, for example, you were saying eating at the same time every day. That's going to be physically impossible for people who have that kind of job or have that kind of commitment. Nurses, doctors, tradesmen, that kind of thing. So in this situation, it is making the best out of the environment that you're in. So whether you need to create 3 patterns, 1 for day shifts, 1 for night shifts, 1 for days off, then that is what you do. And that's basically what he's had to do. So now he goes to the gym. He's not a gym goer, but he goes to the gym. So he finishes night shift. He goes to work, starts work at 6 in the evening, finishes at 6 a.m. And he has to go to the gym then, because it won't happen otherwise. He's done a physical job, really hard environment. If he's going into his 5 days off, he needs to rest, and he needs to completely rest, not force himself to do stuff, because to be able to do that job continuously requires a lot of mental capacity, grit, determination, all the rest of it. So he now goes to the gym straight after he finishes work, and it's not going to be the best workout, but he's doing something to contribute towards his health, and actually it has made a big impact. So even though you may think, okay, well, there's no point going now because I'm really tired, I've done a really physical job, and and I need to sleep. Actually, he started with going for like half an hour and just doing some cardio. So he would go and walk on the treadmill for half an hour, or there we go and sit on the bike for half an hour. Now he goes and he does his squats, his rows, his deadlifts, his cardio, all of that, because he's built it in over a year. It's not right, tomorrow I'm starting a diet and tomorrow I'm doing that. He has adapted over a year. And it's taken us a long time to get to the point where he recognizes this longer process rather than I want it all now. But it's working for him and it's worked really well. So I would suggest, if that is you and you are in that situation, what small changes can you make? Do you want to go to the gym, first of all? Is that a thing that you want to do, but you feel like it's too much and you can't manage it, and you know you are too tired, whatever it may be? Okay, go to the gym. I've done this with a client before. Different situations. She was scared. She was physically scared. She would shake. She would feel sick. She could not cross the door of the gym. So we would start by her walking to the gym and walking past it. And she did that for 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, she would go to the gym. I had her phone the gym, and she went and met the gym owners. And then the next time she went into the gym, she didn't do anything. She just went into the gym and went home. Then she started to go in and do 5 minutes and like have a walk around, look at the equipment. She didn't actually go on the equipment. She just familiarized herself with the equipment that was there and started to see some people in the gym. Then the process went on. Eventually, she managed to get into the weights room. Now she does it all. She's brilliant. But it's those small steps, because if there is something that is really challenging to you, that is scary for your brain, you cannot force yourself to go into that situation and feel comfortable about it and want to go back. So break it down. And these are what I call process goals. So we have an outcome goal. An outcome goal is, I want to deadlift X amount in my competition in so many weeks. Sorry, that's just what's relevant to me at the moment. Yours might be, I want to lose 15 kilos by X date. Okay. That's a very big, scary goal. In order to get there, you need to break it down. So you need to know, okay, what am I going to do when I wake up tomorrow? What am I going to do at lunchtime tomorrow? What am I going to do in the afternoon? What time am I going to go to bed? How am I going to factor in my relationships? How am I going to factor in that wedding, that birthday, that school play? How are all these things going to fit in? And those are what we call process goals. Process goals are step-by-step things that makes it easy for your brain to take steps from one thing to the next without being overwhelming, so that you then go, I can't do this, I'm going to fail.
Yeah, and that's the thing when it comes to process goals. So a lot of the time, it's what exactly is it that I need to do? Because we know exactly what we want, but we don't actually know the process. We don't know what to do. Even when it gets told to us, we can have all the answers. There's a friggin' huge library of books out there. But unless we're ready to listen to it, unless we tune into exactly what our brain logically sees as the way, it's going to be near impossible. And I'm all about process goals. I don't actually like focusing on the outcome with my clients. I like saying, okay, we know this, that's your sat nav, but now we actually need to get on the freaking road. Don't stay in the house thinking about getting to bloody Looney Tunes. You need to get in your car, you need to go on the road, and you need to face all the obstacles, the freaking car crashes that happen on the side. You need to take your time. There's going to be stoplights, road bumps, blah, blah, blah. But you need to actually get in the car first. Which way to go? Well, think about yourself already being where you want to be. If there's people out there that are pretty much emulating that, what is it that they do? What are they sacrificing? A lot of the time you won't know, because social media is all smokes and mirrors. You need to actually visualize it for yourself. Visualization is the strongest thing that you can feed your brain. It is the thing. Now, when it actually comes to the habits, it's exactly pretty much as she said. Now, she gave such an amazing example in terms of her husband. Now,
X.
Sorry, we're gonna say X.
Would not be happy.
We do not want to have an association with that ex anymore. Now, that ex-husband. Now, I actually have another client, and this will be touching on what we spoke about in our first sleep episode. She would be given random day shifts, random night shifts. Before she came to me, she was a scattered mess. Her hormones all over the place. She was insulin resistant as hell. She got diagnosed with PCOS, which we ended up getting rid of every single symptom. So it was probably a false diagnosis. But the thing is, what got her through to success is routine and cues. Your body gets used to what you feed it. It is an adaptive mechanism. Use the same routines with the same cues. Okay, you wake up. What is it that you do every single day and every single night when you wake up on each of you different shifts. Follow the same process. It's just a different time of day. If you need to take melatonin before you sleep, that's another good way to signal melatonin to release. If you're a shift worker, I actually really suggest having melatonin before you sleep, just to give in that cue for your body to actually release the melatonin where and when you actually need it in your individual circadian rhythm cycle, because everyone's different and you dictate your circadian rhythm. Now, that is you actually getting paid to do it in health. You are investing into your health for this. Now, this can probably relate to quite a lot of people. So if you're someone that suffers fatigue, or you have a disease that pretty much means that you're constantly fatigued, or even if you're a type A personality and you're always thinking before you go to sleep, this is when we'll start talking about how we do things. Now, I have a client who suffers Crohn's. Now, this actually means that she gets more fatigued than usual. So what we actually have implemented into her day is she takes a 20-minute nap at the time that she recognizes you need to listen to your body. She knows that she gets tired around 1 p.m. She takes a 20 to 30-minute nap then after she eats, and then she continues on with her day, and she finishes her day, and then she starts toning down for bed, doing whatever she can, but she still has shit sleep. And this is what we're about to touch on. We just addressed her issues, and we are about to pretty much break through them. If your brain is on full throttle mode, how can you expect to sleep? I always suggest sleeping with a notebook by your side and actually doing active brain dumping, because there are some people that can't just switch off and go into an app to meditate. There are some people that can't do things so smoothly, like Phoenix already has embedded. But what did she say? She's done it pretty much a whole life. It's there. But there are people that aren't at that level, people that can't meditate before bed, people that can't just switch off their phones and turn off, because they're going to be constantly thinking regardless. They probably can't even listen to their phone, because as soon as it starts playing, it's like, oh, this is nice. Oh, what about this? Oh, shit, I didn't do this. Oh, I need to do this tomorrow. Oh, I need to do this tomorrow. Like, you need to work with where you are at to get there. Like, that is exactly bang on exactly what you should be doing. You should be telling yourself, why would I need to get a message at this time of night? Exactly like Phoenix said. That's why their phones are off. My phone, we will now get back into my healthy habits, because I'm just about to talk about my phone. Now, my phone, because I am trying to change my circadian.
Sorry, you carry on. I need to rescue my dog. I will be back.
Okay, so with my sleeping habits, one thing that I make sure that I do now that I'm trying to reset my circadian rhythm is my phone used to go on do not disturb mode at 9:30, and then I changed it to 9 o'clock. Now my phone goes on do not disturb mode at 8:30, which means that I'm not going to have notifications screaming at me saying read me, and triggering a cortisol response. So I have do not disturb mode on from 8:30 until 11 a.m. Why 11 a.m.? Because I put myself first. So then I can actually be there for everyone else, which is pretty much what we spoke about in the first episode. Like, we need to be able to put ourselves first in the morning, because the middle of our day is all about giving to other people. If we do not give to ourselves first, if we do not spend that time with ourselves, we are not going to be in control of our day, and we are going to be a frantic mess. And that's also going to help with that cortisol spike that you usually get when you wake up. That morning routine is essential for buffering the cortisol response, which then helps you with insulin sensitivity. It helps you with your hormones. It helps you with all of the rest of the stuff. Anyway, so that's the reason behind that. And 11 a.m. is usually the time I get back home after I finish doing my training. So that's the one thing, my do not disturb mode. The next thing that I pretty much do is I keep the same routine. I eat my meals at the same time every day, which I'm about to show you. So as you can see behind me, this is my desk layout. You can see there's a whiteboard there. There's a whiteboard there. There's a whiteboard behind this bottle. That is another whiteboard. And that's pretty much the main whiteboards that I have. Now, on this whiteboard over here, which I will take you over, but there's pretty much no point, you can see it. So this whiteboard over here, I have split up Monday to Sunday. On that, I have just like literally normal chunks. At the top, it says, this is my gym routine. And then I have, well, actually I have my morning routine and then my gym routine. So my morning routine just means doing whatever it is that I feel I want to do, which a lot of the time it's studying. A lot of the time it might be, okay, I need to actually get some shit done on my to-do list so that I'm at a better peace of mind. And I always have my to-do list. Like I said about brain dumping before you go to sleep, I have my to-do list written before I sleep. And then I edit it every morning when I wake up. So I write a whole list down on a piece of paper for anything that I need to do. And then in the morning, I pick the 3 most important tasks, put them onto this whiteboard that you see over there. And then there's a little piece of paper just under it. That's all the rest of my to-do list. 3 most important tasks, which there's nothing on it right now, so I can't really show you anything. I finished them. And then the rest on there. That is what I do. And then on the whiteboard over there, that's if I have any phone calls through the week. So I pretty much just have like the day and then any phone calls, any appointments. That's like my diary, my planner. So dates and phone calls I need to do, appointments I have, all that's in there. Now in this little corner over here, which is above my Saturday and Sunday, because I don't book anything on those days, Saturday is my meal prep day. I prep 7 days on a Saturday, which is what keeps me sane for the rest of the week because I spend less time in the kitchen. I only have to cook my oats and put my toast into a toaster and whip tuna and all that stuff on. Anyway, so here I have my meal times. I eat my meals at the same time every single day, and I make it a priority. If you can't do that same thing, I would say trying to keep a leeway gap of an hour and trying to be as regular as you can anyway. It's like an appointment with yourself. It's like a job. Your job is to eat and sit there with the meal. That is what I do with my meal times. If something like this happens and I have to delay my meal, because usually my meal is literally about 15 minutes ago and it's going to end up being in about 30 minutes, that's fine because it's a one-off and it's not that late and it's my last meal. So it's not really impeding on much. So that pretty much is how I organize my week, and it's on a whiteboard. Why? Because I can erase it. I can edit it. That's like pretty much what Phoenix said about it's going to take time. It's going to take repetitions. And at first you fail, you keep trying. And the meal timing thing is a new thing that I started this year. Well, I've always wanted to do it. And only this year has it really stuck, which is when I'll start talking about why it came about and why I think it's the most important thing you can do. But that pretty much is all of that. Now, that's my morning. That's how I organize my week. Is there anything else I need to cover on my desk? Oh yeah, one more thing. So all these things you see on my wall there and the pinboard and the whiteboard, that's like motivational stuff. So one thing that I do with my clients is I set a vision board. I started this vision board 2 years ago and it was the most important thing I've ever done. If it wasn't for this vision board, I would not feel the clarity that I have now. But a vision board isn't about goals. It's about keywords, theme words, like how do you want to feel? It's about what makes you feel like, what is it that you desire to feel? How do you see your life? So my keywords have always been mindful, empowered. I'll read some out. La, 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 la. Abundant, mindful, working with intent, and I've always wanted to feel free within myself. So there's quite a few there, but that's my why. That's why I do things, because I know that I want to feel this way. It's not, I want to lose freaking 15 kilos in a week. Like, it's not something stupid. It's not even something that is remotely like relative. Like, yeah, they're there as personal goals, but I literally write them in fine print because that's my sat nav. Like, okay, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that, but it's not static. I want a 200 kilo deadlift on there. I didn't end up getting it and it's still on there, but I don't really care about it. I kind of try to scrape it off, but it does, you can still see it. But that's the thing, like your goals will change as you evolve. And your vision, your processing, the way that you do things is allowed to evolve with you. It is allowed to evolve with you. Your coping mechanisms, everything is allowed to evolve with you. It doesn't need to stay stagnant. Everyone thinks that that shit needs to stay the same. No, the way that you do things evolves with you. Your habits evolve with you. The way that you manage your food relationship evolves with you. Your goals evolve. The way that you want to take your journey evolves. Like you could start off wanting to lose so-and-so kilos. And then as you get, this is something I see a lot of the time when girls sign up with me. They sign up probably just wanting to lose this excess weight, except a lot of people now sign up because they got fucked around by fucked up coaches and they come to me to fix them, even though they're not broken, but you know what I mean? They want me to fix them. And that's pretty much what I deal with now. Or people that are trying to manage their whacked up hormones because they're not eating properly, sleeping properly, blah, blah, blah. That's what I deal with now. But people still come to me saying, I want to look toned and defined and I want to lose this weight. And it's like, okay, cool. They start off with that intention, but give it about 3 months, 6 months. That's not even what they're focusing on anymore. They're talking about how much more energy they feel. They have their period back. They're having great sex with their husbands. They're feeling alive again, which is something they never felt before. They're starting to love going to the gym. It doesn't feel like a chore anymore. They're actually starting to be creative with food now. It doesn't feel like, oh, I have to eat this way or I can't eat that. They think, I just realized now, they don't even think about what they can't eat anymore. Whereas that's what they used to focus on. And it just clicked now that I'm saying it. I don't hear them saying, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. It's, I wonder what I can create with this. Oh, I wonder if I can make that. They're thinking about all the things they can have, not what they can't have. Your way of getting to where you want to be can evolve as you evolve. That is something to remember. And that's the same with my night routine. It's evolved. Now, one thing that I will now touch on that I said all of that is my night routine. So I have my last meal, I do a little bit more work, and then now at a set time, which used to be 8 p.m., but now it's about 7:30 is the max. If I have something on at night, that means that I have to push everything back 30 minutes like today. And that is when I then get into a walk, because the walk is like my full stop between laptop time, work time. It's like work brains off. I'm going to walk. I'm going to watch Instagram stories. I'm going to do shit that I love doing. And I don't own a TV. I don't own Netflix. I don't do that crap. To me, I don't care about other people's lives unless I know them. And I know my Instagram people because I follow them. Well, I know them socially. So I spend my TV time, or whatever you want to call it, as my full stop, watching Instagram stories, connecting with friends, being social, because social media has connected us in so many ways. Like, I see social media as the most positive thing, whereas a lot of people see it as negative. I love it because it's connected me with people I wouldn't otherwise be connected with. Now, that is what I do as my full stop. And then I have a hot shower. And a hot shower, hot bath, whatever, is the most amazing thing to making you sleepy. At least it makes me sleepy. I get ready for bed, and then I put lavender oil on my pillow, and I put patchouli oil on my chest and on my temples. And those smells combined, it's like the perfect aroma to set me off in drowsiness mode. By the time I like scroll my phone, do more of my fun stuff, which to me, it's not a cortisol response. I actually use my phone in a way that soothes me, and I scroll in a way that soothes me. And by time that's usually why it takes me so long to put the phone down at like 9:15, 9:30, not 9 o'clock, but I'm actually at 9:15 now, not 9:30. So it's working. And I do all of that. And then I put a podcast on. When I was a little girl, like little girl, my dad used to read to me. So I connect that reading, that voice talking with putting me to sleep. Even though I can actually listen to one while I'm like on a run or something, it can also serve as something that soothes me to sleep. So I put on a podcast and I put it on 30 minutes of like 30-minute timer to put me to sleep. And I honestly don't even remember the first 5 minutes. I'm out within the first minute. So I love, like, my sleep's deep. I sleep as soon as I hit the pillow. Your turn. We'll talk about her sleep routine and then I think we pretty much covered everything on sleep.
Yeah. So I'm, it's funny you should say about the reading to go to sleep. As I said, I love the Calm app because it has sleep stories. And I think that is something that pretty much everyone, I mean, it's a global thing, isn't it? You read to your kid or you sing to your kid to go to sleep. So, you know, the very foundations of that app, you know, calming you down, putting to sleep with stories or with music, I mean, it's ingrained into us. That's what we grew up with. So hence, you know, it works for so many people worldwide. That is what I do. So I do watch TV. I do like spending time with, because that is time I spend with my child, is time I spend with my partner. We both get back from work, you know, like there is the work day, we have dinner, you know, work talk happens at the table, what happened during the day. And then it's the evening time, it's wind down time. And I'm like, I do not want to talk about or hear about work after a certain time at night. And this is actually something that came up very recently, because my boyfriend has started a new job. It's really exciting for him. He's loving it. But the first, you know, week or so, a few days, it was literally wake up in the morning and I'm hearing about work, and last before bed I'm hearing about work, and it is constant. And I said to him the other night, I was like, can we have a time where this stops? You know, I'm happy for you to come home from work and talk about it for an hour or so at dinner, but I don't want it to be every single thing that comes out of your mouth is about it, because I don't get it. I'm not there. I'm not part of that. And all I'm hearing about is this environment that I have no experience of and I cannot connect to. And we're not actually talking about anyone else's stuff. So it's, for me, that work talk happens to a certain point, and then it is family time. So then we sit down, we might watch Netflix, we might, if it's the weekend, we might play some games, we might go out, we might take, you know, I take Jack for a walk in the evenings. You like to walk, you know, I think that physical activity before bed is really helpful as well. I particularly like it in the winter when it's been dark all day and we've been, you know, cooped up in the central heating. I love going for a night walk, seeing the Christmas lights, coming back in, and that's it. We are tired then, you know, you've kind of got that last bit of energy out before the day, cold air, and we're ready to go to bed. So I like that. In terms of the bedroom, there is no TV. We don't have TV. We'll both tend to kind of like have a quick look on our phones before it goes off and it goes on flight mode. Jackie, oh my God, sorry about my dog. And then we just throw this, and then he will disappear outside the dog. And then it is, you know, Calm app or, you know, whatever, we'll have a chat before bed, and that is it. Pitch black, no talking in the night, no phones in the night. We are done.
So pretty much, and it's the same thing, like we repeat our routines night and night again. And that is why it's embedded in, like we learn those patterns. Anyway, so I think we have covered any questions that anyone has had about sleep. If there's anything else that you want to ask us, we will always have all our details listed. So just contact either of us, ask us any questions, and if there's anything else, then we'll bring it up in a future episode.
Yeah.
And we might even end up getting a question and answer podcast up within the next month if we get enough questions out. So yeah, we will see you on the next one.
Yeah. Also, we will post, there's a couple of links I've got to some really good books on sleep if you're interested in them. So we'll post those below so that you can go and do your own reading on it.
Perfect. We'll start doing that on a lot of our episodes as well. Any other links, we'll just have it all down below. So thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
I love